My name is Patrick White, and I've lost 80 pounds thanks to mountain biking.
Improving your health is one of the most glorious side effects of mountain biking, and sharing Patrick's achievement is what this video is all about. We'll chat about how much riding he was doing, when he noticed he was losing weight, and the new experiences that have been opened up to him. Then at the end of the video, I'm going to give Patrick a big surprise, all thanks to my friends at Competitive Cyclist. Just like so many people, the start of the pandemic had a drastic effect on his life.
I lost my job. I was deemed non-essential. I basically had all the time in the world to do anything, so I just rode my bike a lot. I rode probably about 2 times a day, 4 days a week.
Riding twice a day might be some mountain bikers' dream situation, but Patrick was using this space to help him work through losing a job that meant a lot to him.
You know, when I'm out on the trail, I'm not worrying about anything else other than what's right in front of me, whatever obstacle is there, or, getting up the hill or going down or whatever. So it's just kind of like, this place of zen for me. I mean, it really sucks because I really loved my job. I was working at the university, working on an after-school program for kids where we were teaching kids in lower socioeconomic areas throughout this city of Phoenix about health and fitness, and also helping them get 60 minutes of activities. So it was a really meaningful and a real personal job that I was working at. We held our programs in public libraries, so because of COVID and how everything got shut down, access to the libraries were closed. Effectively, the program ended. It was kind of actually a really hard time.
I've known Patrick for a while now, and in spite of the outrageous amounts of riding he does, he's not always been this slim person that you see today.
I was still probably about 240 pounds, 45 pounds. My diet just wasn't where it needs to be. As they say, you can't outrun a bad diet. So even though I was mountain biking 4 to 5 times a week, I was still, going to the Circle K and getting a Polar Pop at 64 ounce. I found it, just because, I was a little bit heavier, it was just harder to keep up. My endurance wasn't quite up there with everyone else.
Did it make you feel bad, or was it not really a problem? Or
it wasn't really a problem for me. I think because I knew what was holding me back, and it was up to me to address it. If it was a problem, or if I was upset about it, I couldn't be upset at anyone else other than myself.
So if Patrick is riding 4 or 5 times a week in Phoenix, Arizona, what were his riding stats from 2019?
Probably about 2,200, 2,500 miles.
Which is a hell of a lot of riding to do already, so imagine doubling that. What differences was Patrick noticing from this increased amount of riding?
I learned to ride with fatigue a little bit better, being able to fight through those mental battles of being tired, at least, getting out and just showing up.
It wasn't just his mental approach that was getting worked, his body was of course changing as well.
Over, course of a week or, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, going on to a month, the fitness levels are kind of picking up, and I'm noticing, certain things are becoming a little bit easier. It's easier to kind of go at a faster pace without stopping to catch my breath, or I can continue on a little bit longer or something like that.
Were you monitoring your weight at this point?
Not so much. For me, a scale or whatever is a very dangerous thing. I don't like to look at the numbers. I was able just to see kind of the weight coming off just through the mirror, but yeah.
As he got halfway through 2020 and started to reap the rewards of putting in so much effort into riding, Patrick started to realize he could also make some gains elsewhere.
I was noticing I was gaining fitness and everything like that just from riding. I didn't do any special diets or anything like that. For me, it was just simply put, just cutting out, processed types of foods, and just eating a little bit cleaner. If I would go 20 miles and 2,000 feet of climbing, then I could have a Coke or something like that. That's a little system that worked for me without taking away something that I enjoy after a ride.
So it was more rewarding yourself rather than eating it out of habit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for Patrick, he couldn't spend all of his time riding forever, and he was able to find a new job in October of 2020.
End of 2020, are you still riding 5 times a week, twice a day?
Not as much. Once I started working again, I had to cut that back a little bit, but I was still getting out there at least for 4 or 5 times a week.
Mountain biking can be a fantastic way of meeting new people, and Patrick is very much involved in the Phoenix riding scene. From helping to organize the weekly Taco Tuesday ride to getting involved with local skills clinics. And it's on one of these group rides that someone new came into his life.
I got in a relationship with my girlfriend, Carrie. I think also that helped me a little bit, She helped me kind of reinforce my new way of kind of living, a little bit cleaner eating and everything like that, helping me, stay on track and just be a healthier person as well.
Now, Carrie has achieved some pretty amazing cycling accomplishments herself, like taking part in insane races like the Tour Divide that goes from Canada all the way down to the bottom of the United States. And this spirit of adventure would inspire Patrick as well.
In 2020, we took a 3-day, 128-mile bikepacking trip over in the Superstition Mountains. You get to really explore and see the trails in a different light. Again, it's not about racing or anything like that. It's about, taking in the nature and, looking around you and just going on these epic adventures.
How do you think Patrick from 3 years ago would have handled that?
Oh, he would have tapped out halfway through the first day. He would not have made that because there were some serious climbs in there, and we were riding these on hardtails and 50 something pounds. It's like would not have worked out very well. I did not have the personal fitness or the personal push to kind of do something like that.
At what point did you start measuring your weight?
I would say probably like once people start gathering a little bit. I got a lot of comments, people asking like, whoa, you've lost so much weight from seeing me at 240, and then next time they see me, I'm at 170 or whatever. Like after I started kind of hearing those comments, I would kind of step on the scale and kind of see what I was at. I was like, oh, I've lost quite a bit of weight.
Can you remember the first number that you saw?
Probably 185 is what I saw.
When was that?
Sometime probably in September of 2022.
That's 9 months in the future.
I'm from the future.
Oh, sorry.
Do you mean
2020? Yeah.
Oh, in 2020?
2020, yeah.
Whoa, so hold on. You had lost 55 pounds from March to September. So 6 months.
Yeah.
Whoa.
55 pounds, or about 24 kilos, is a lot of weight to shed off. But had it actually changed anything for Patrick?
Now, what about confidence? Did you feel any other, obviously there's the athletic and riding probably gets a bit easier.
Yeah.
But what about outside of that world?
I wouldn't say confidence because I'm not a very ego type person or anything like that. But I felt a lot more comfortable.
And with this newfound comfort in himself, Patrick would open himself up to new challenges.
Then I was able to kind of lead rides a little bit more. Just because I could kind of be in that front of the pack, and I kind of was able to push myself more in a leadership type role.
I'm sure a lot of you are wondering about his bike. With this much riding, how much was he spending on parts to keep the wheels turning?
Were you breaking stuff? What was happening with the actual mechanics of the bike?
Nothing really. I didn't really break anything on my bike. My bike was pretty durable. I mean, I had a big enduro rig, not anything more than normal.
I thought there was going to be loads in there, but there's not. There's nothing.
So with all this time out on the trail in 2020, what were his numbers at the end of the year?
2020, I believe it was about 3,300 miles and 350,000 feet of climbing.
So with a new relationship and a new job, what were his goals for 2021? Yes, it was all about continuing to build on these huge numbers, but he was also hoping to grow in other areas.
For me, one of the goals were just to improve on my mileage and elevation that I had done previously, so 4,000 miles and 400,000 feet of climbing is what I strive for. And then to also try a race or two. But honestly, for me, my main goals were not so much with me, but to help other people. I really wanted to help others either get into the sport, try stuff into mountain biking, technical riding that they didn't think that they were possible doing. And I wanted to help people kind of find, their way into the community and to kind of push themselves and everything as well.
And that's what he did, helping out on group activities and getting involved with volunteering at those skills clinics. And he still managed to ride almost 3,000 miles and 300,000 feet of elevation without as much spare time as the year before.
Were you riding new trails? Were you pushing yourself at the same time? Or?
Yeah, I was definitely riding new trails. Again, still a little bit confined in Arizona, not traveling out so much. But riding, harder trails, that I didn't think were possible, such as, Hangover in Sedona, it's a really difficult trail.
To really show how he was pushing himself, we went to this intimidating rock roll that Patrick has never done before. It was the only feature he hasn't ticked off on this trail.
Your arch nemesis, potentially?
let's walk it. Let's have a look. Look, no pressure, my sir, no pressure. Start up here. Drop on down. Patrick at the bottom. Honestly, you won't even think about it. He pushed his bike to the top and then told me that he was going to ride down and stop before the gap. I did not think he meant the one at the bottom. Oh! You can't really stop. No. Oh my God, are you okay? Oh my God. Okay. Hold on. Undeterred though, he got right back up and headed to the top again. It's just gone straight back up. What a hero. Yes! Yes! Buddy, let's hand check. No, he's shaking. A little bit. Oh, what a pro. But this year wasn't just about the numbers, it was about new adventures. Patrick was able to complete another bikepacking trip with Carrie in New Mexico, riding down some of the Continental Divide Trail over 3 days and covering 130 miles. And he even managed to introduce his riding buddy Ryan to the world of bikepacking, completing the Black Canyon Trail just outside of Phoenix, which was riding 90 miles over 2 days.
I got to take what Carrie taught me and shared with me, and I got to help him experience bikepacking and everything like that too, and we had a really great time, so yeah.
Clearly, a fire has been lit under Patrick, and he already has his next trip planned out.
We have two on our eye. One is the Kokopelli Trail near Moab, from Gruta or Grand Junction down into Moab. And then there's another route that we found on bikepacking.com up in Montana. And the fun thing about that one is it also combines rafting. So we'll be biking and we'll be carrying pack rafts with us. And once we get to this river that's on this route, we'll put our bikes on our rafts and we'll be rafting. So we'll see how that works out.
It's time to get a little retrospective here and explore what Patrick has found out about himself.
That I'm capable of a lot more than I imagine, that I can really push myself, and I have a lot of grit that I didn't think I once had. You know, like a bikepacking trip or whatever, like there's no way I could do that or anything like that, but just realizing the capabilities of myself and what's possible, and being able to kind of push through and really kind of do these epic adventures.
If you could go back and tell late 2019 Patrick, what would you tell him?
Get your butt off the computer chair, stop drinking those Polar Pops, eat better. Really, you know, you're not getting any younger. Just take better care of yourself. You'd be amazed with what's possible, what you're able to do when you really kind of focus in and hone on what you are striving for and what you want to do.
And now that you've heard Patrick's story, it's time to give him a bit of a surprise.
Patrick, this video is sponsored.
Yes.
Have you seen those other videos that have been sponsored?
Yes.
So you've got $500 to go and spend at Competitive Cyclist. And I'm giving you that.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's very important to not reward you, rather, but celebrate this thing that you've achieved, and it's pretty motivational. And also, another thing I noticed was that your bike was like worn out of a couple of parts. Just so happens in my van that I have a new XTR cassette.
Oh, nice.
A new derailleur for you. There's I didn't have the XT one, so you've got to have the XTR shifter.
Oh no.
And then there's a new XTR chain. So you can have the $500 to spend on other things.
Awesome.
I also get money from these sponsored things. So I'm going to give you $1,000.
No way.
Yeah. Because I just think that how you've turned yourself around to go from like this sedentary person, and like you do such great work and you do the community, it's like that should be celebrated and you should be rewarded for it. So I'm going to give you $1,000.
Well, I really appreciate that. That's, you know, you don't go into something like this in the purpose of getting anything back. So that really means a lot to me, you know, that you hear my story and to celebrate it in that sense. So I really do appreciate that.
That's fine. And you can cry at any moment.
Holding them back.
Do you know how many times I've done these and people don't cry? Okay, I'll have to try again.
With his $500, Patrick logged on to Competitive Cyclist and picked up some new Shimano XT clipless pedals that should last him a lifetime. It was also time for him to upgrade to Shimano's IceTech rotors, which will offer better cooling properties and thus improved braking performance out on the trail. And with the remainder of the money, he grabs some new clothes and some spares to make sure he doesn't miss a day of riding. But it's not just Patrick that gets to enjoy this. You too can click the link in the description below and use code PUNTER15 for 15% off your first purchase at Competitive Cyclist. These guys have so much in stock right now and their service is second to none. Patrick already has the kit that he ordered. So click that link in the description below and use Competitive Cyclist for your next biking purchase. If you've enjoyed today's video and want to see me do more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future upload. It's completely free to do so. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and more importantly, watch it twice. Cheers punters, I'll see you next time.